Hey, what's up, guys? It's Metagame GX here, and we're going to be going over why I took to YCS Pittsburgh, what worked and what didn't. So, I wasn't really thinking about doing a video like this because obviously I didn't top. I made it to the end of day one, but that's about it. I'd say that initially I was like, okay, there won't be too much value in this, but I think there will be for the people who are playing pure branded Despia or even branded Dracotail, the pile version, of course, or the hand trap version. They're thinking about playing the pile version and just really go over that. And, I've been kind of pushing some theory the last couple weeks, and I don't want to say this theory has been bad or anything, but I do think like we have to consider other things when the meta is as it is, right at the top end. When you go to the YCS, you're going to be getting hit with Ashes, Fualoses, Shifters, Retaliating Seas, and at the end of the day, if you're not able to play the game, then why run certain cards and why not run others? So I think that my deck build fell into a trap where I was just getting triple hand trapped basically every game, called by like Ash Fuad, and that's just Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end of the day, and sometimes that happens more often than not. Sometimes you're the one who draws Fualos every game, sometimes you're not. But I think that, you know, the way I built my deck was I wanted it to be very much like mostly a branded deck, right? I have a bunch of Alubers. This is very similar to one of my very older lists, but like two Quem, one Shrouded Dragon. Shout out to getting this though. I ended up getting a secret rare misprint, Shrouded Dragon. It does not come in misprint, and as you guys can see, also you can see there's an imprint of another name on there. If you can tell which card that is, let me know. But yeah, this is one of the coolest misprints I've ever seen. As you can see, secret rare with common text. And then also got this misprint Sanctifier right here. So this was also another one of my grails that I've been wanting to get in. This is also a card that we're going to be talking about though, because I didn't end up running Sanctifier, and I think that was an issue. I think I regretted that, honestly, and that's why I'm thinking about other things. But this was the monster lineup: one Bestial, one Lubellion. I really wanted to cut down on bricks. This was a 50 card build, of course. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to have a build that was highly consistent, and I saw hands of branded. I wanted to see Aluber plus Rahu basically every single game. And with that being said, I maybe should have built this down more to the ground, because I wasn't able to really resolve Dracotail cards until round 5. So, with that being said, my branded engine was good, but it was definitely more thin than, what it could have been if I was just playing pure branded. So that made me think at the beginning that maybe I should have been just playing pure branded, if a lot of the time I would just be drawing only branded hands. And like I said in many videos, I value normal Luber more than normal Lucius, and I still do, but with that being said, I think maybe we'll be looking to go towards more of a pure build, but we'll talk about that. I think these ratios were fine. I think that Mercurier and Tragedy probably don't work in the Dracotail build, though, because this card never came up, and it bricked me more than anything, and Tragedy bricked me more than anything. I think my cards need to be able to do stuff, so if there's anything I would change in the future with this kind of build, it would be removing these two and then figuring something else out. I had tested without Mercurier, but I wasn't like prepared to take it out. But honestly, these cards were basically useless in my deck, and I was still sending it. I mean, Mercurier was good once, but I think that overall it could have just been a different card. Kit was fine. I still enjoyed Kit, to be honest, but I think there were some issues too with running Kit and the Dracotail cards, because you're always discarding monsters and you're getting rid of card advantage. So that is what that was. And then the Dracotail cards: Urgula, Phimina, Malulu, and Frixel. And then I guess I could do the rest of the Dracotail engine right here. 1 Ketu, 3 Rahu, and then 1 Sting, 1 Flame. So I ended up running Sting because it seemed like a little bit better of an option than Horn, and it never even came up. So that's the thing. I barely played these cards. I made it to the end of round, to the end of round 8. And these cards barely were resolving, and when they did, I would get like Retaliating Seed essentially, or so like, because I'd like get Ghost Spelled. There was one game I got like Ghost Spelled on my Shrouded to pick up Branded Fusion, and then I just got Retaliating Seed on my Rahu, and I just like proceeded to lose the game. So a lot of these cards just play into Retaliating Seed too, which is just like, if you're playing branded, like, you don't lose to Retaliating Sea, but like these cards make you lose to Retaliating Sea. It's kind of the same thing with Herald at the end of the day. These cards make you lose to Herald more than they help you with Herald, but that wasn't even the issue for the most part. Like, I did lose my Yummy Mitsu matchups though, because I just got like the one game I got cross out Ash called by the one game, and then the other game, the game after that, I got called by Ash plus Ghost Spell. So like a lot of God Hands plus like Habakiri, and obviously those cards should go, but like I should still be able to, you know, build around the meta. I know what's going on. I knew Mitsu, Yummy, and Branded were going to be, or Dracotail Branded would be the best decks, and Dracotail Branded obviously won. I just think if I was going to be playing Dracotail Branded, I should have played the heavier Dracotail build, or just play pure Branded. I think this build with the pile is just way too inconsistent. It's way too hard to deck build as well. I think that's the main issue, because like you see this ratio, I'm not even running Lucius because I have too many normal summons, and whenever I see these spells, it's so good, right? Like I am winning the game when I see these most of the time, when I don't get Retaliating Seed or Fuad. But the thing is also, I get Fuad a lot, so these play into Fuad more when I'm like my Fuad line is supposed to be at like Branded Fusion, right? So the fact that these don't play into Fua very well in this build in particular, because you're trying to also resolve Branded Fusion mostly, I just think is really terrible into this meta, where you're just getting, if you don't have a good answer for Fua, that's like really bad. And right, like in Rahu in the normal hand trap build is good under Fua, because you can go Rahu, give them one draw and still set 2 traps, because you probably hard open a name, but with only 4 names you probably don't do that, so you only get 1 set, and that's only 1 interruption, so it's just not a good Fua line. And these cards just were terrible, honestly. In my testing in the last few months, these cards have been incredible. That's why I've been pushing them, especially like in the last week where I started testing this build again. But I just don't think I tested enough in terms of seeing what all the current scheme of the hand traps were, and the amount of Retaliating. I knew Retaliating Sea was out there, but the fact you just hard lose to Retaliating Sea the moment you resolve these cards in your branded pile deck, it's just like, if you just got 3 structure decks, you should just probably stick to pure Branded at this point. Or if you're playing more of a 50 card Branded build, just play pure Branded. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be cutting these cards going forward. They were terrible for me. Unfortunately, I've been very high on the Dracotail cards, but they've been terrible. I wish I just ran Sanctifier instead, honestly, instead of just doing these lines with like the traps and like Etude. I mean, Etude was good, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But like the Dracotail cards were not. So, and I think a lot of the time, if I had Sanctifier to basically make like under Fualos, like I talked about Fualos being an issue, Fualos is an issue, but if you have Sanctifier, Fualos is an issue, right? Like, yes, Fallen the Virtuous and Droplet are out there, but I think that's like what we literally just like have to like take on the chin if they out it. And it's just like I've always said, you should have more interruptions than just the Sanctifier, hopefully. And if they don't have it, then you just win the game on the spot. So you just have to put them on better habit, I think, a lot of the time, and this does it more. Whereas like something like the Dracotail cards and traps are just like not enough in my opinion. So for the non-engine, or for the hand traps, 3 Ash Blossom and then 3 Mulcharmy. Picked up these Feed Ash at the convention center, and yeah, these cards were insane. Ash Blossom was absolutely the best card in my deck the whole day. Every time I saw it, if I had it going second, even as a single interruption, it did something to my opponent's board. And then also just the effect, I got Fuad so much. This card's never leaving my branded deck ever again, just because of Fua. And also obviously with Altharion, you can bounce this to your hand in theory, but this is also very awkward with the Dracotail cards and branded cards. You just want to see branded 1-card starters, honestly, with this card. So yeah, I'm gonna keep those cards. The Ash and Fua definitely worked for sure, and I you know, in terms of ratios that worked here, I'd say the double Quem was also not bad. Double Cartesia was really whatever, but I think if I'm going to pure, there's no reason not to run double Cartesia. But we'll see. Here for the branded spells and traps, 2 branded fusion, and then I tried something else where I had a bunch of 2-ofs, so 2 high spirits, 3 opening, 1 Fallen in the Virtuous, and then 1 branded Lost, and then 2 fusion deployment. Also finally got my all art playset, So I'm very happy about that. I ended up remaxing my branded deck. So this video is also a really good opportunity for me to show off my max rarity branded deck. Also, only one Fallen of the Virtuous. We gotta talk about this. So I was very much a big proponent of 3 of this. But I went to 1. Why did I go to 1? Because I was just worried about consistency in the branded Dracotail build in particular. I did switch to branded Draco a little bit later. After this, I was on pure at first. I still think this card's like a 2 to 3 of in pure for sure. I don't think you just run 1 in pure. I think this card's like way too good not to just like run 2 of it. You guys see like the branded Dracotail build that just won the YCS ran 2 of this in the main deck, right? Like this card's incredible. So just like run this card at 2 or 3 if you're running pure. Maybe not 3 just for consistency because branded doesn't have enough 1 card starters, but 2 I think might just be the sweet spot for this card, but 3 is definitely not bad, and you could side the 3rd, right? 1 was just this card was insane every time I saw it, and it allowed me to make really good Fua boards even without Sanctifier, and it just broke boards too, so I don't know. Only running 1 of it definitely was just like whatever in this build. It really didn't matter. I didn't run branded in red either, which was kind of crazy. I ended up running the traps, branded banishment, 2 to the branded, and branded retribution, then also obviously the horn and the sting. So that was like 5 traps, way too many traps obviously, so that's also what didn't work. Like I'd probably cut banishment. Hindsight, banishment was useless all day. Branded red didn't come up because I wasn't locking, so that made sense. So like the branded red theory was correct. If you don't have branded in red, or if you don't lock, I don't think you need branded in red in your deck anymore. Or if you're playing pure, you probably still run it, but Fallen in the Virtuous was insane in the branded Dracotail version, obviously, so that's why I think I should have just played the hand trap version, because this card's all you need in the branded Dracotail version. Just keep looping this card. So it's kind of just bad that I leaned on the banishment more. So that was just a useless card going second in a lot of hands through hand traps. And then Etude was insane. Like Yummy was bending their back over to like out this. It was very good. My only issue is SP Little Knight and then Murakamo outs this, so it still makes them bend their back to kind of like to get rid of this card. I might side this card in the future, if anything. I still think Ido just is a harder to out card overall, because this can still be outed by Fallen the Virtuous, right? So you're just worried about Droplet at that point. I didn't see much Droplet today. I think people are like, I think Droplet's one of those cards, or at the YCS, I think Droplet's one of those cards that just come in and out of the format. Then Foolish called by Gold Sark, and then double Droplet. Droplet was absolutely busted. Really good call over the Super Poly. Definitely worked. I also think it depends. These like 1 card starters were like bad for me for the most part, but like because seeing Tragedy Merc were bad, but like if I'm going back to pure, these are going to be insane in my opinion, just to have ways to play through hand traps. So and then the Droplet will definitely stay, I think, in my deck going forward. I think this is just better than Super Poly for the Dracotail boards. Also Yummy, it's just like the Super Poly definitely works though, so maybe you just like run both of it in pure. Honestly, that's what I'm kind of debating on. And then Called By was absolutely just so good. I think I cannot, like, you just have to run these cards that like make non-games with like the Ash Blossom as well, and like Fualos. Just like sometimes I would just like win games literally just off of these 3 cards alone, and that's like my biggest issue with this format right now. Like I think these 2 cards are like way too good, and like it just makes Ash just like a engine like this is an engine requirement. Every deck has to run these 6 cards now, or these 7 cards, which is just kind of crazy. And that's like my biggest issue and why I was kind of feeling frustrated. I made a tweet. I was just like, can they please ban this fucking card on top of Crossout? Because I got Cross-outed like twice this event, and it just like won them the game on the spot. And every time Called By resolved, it won me the game or won my opponent the game on the spot. I Cross-outed Mitsurugi Murakamo, I won. He couldn't use Murakamo for 2 turns. He could have set up his board to make Murakamo on my turn, but he couldn't because of fucking Called By. So, yeah, no. That's just my issue. I still think like having the ability to see these cards are very important, and then just like having just, yeah, these were very good. Non-engine very good. I just think like the choice of running Dracotail was probably a mistake in the pile version, and if once again, if you're running the Dracotail version, run it with the hand traps, don't run the pile version. And I do apologize for putting out that theory without testing it more. I still think it's like a good build, right? Like I went on, it's not like I didn't test it. I went on DB and got up to like 400 rating. It wasn't terrible, but like, I just think it didn't, I don't know. Like, you guys can obviously probably take this build and do just fine. I just think, like, if you want a consistent experience at the high end against, like, really good builds, I think the pure version is probably the best, or just run the Dracotail hand trap version with branded. That was the main deck, 50 cards, and then we'll go over the extra deck really quickly. Mirror Jade, Double Albion, Lubellion, Titanclad, Rinbrum, Dogma, Grand Guignol, Quertus. This thing barely came up, but it was also a very good target to just have to make with Albion. Like, sometimes I just, like, banish Mercourier to make this and then search. Like, it was kind of crazy. I love the utility in this, that you can, like, just use any effect monster, and you can do that off of Lubellion and not. So I think this card definitely is worth it. Also, I was running Mercourier, so I wanted a good send off of Mirror Jade. Quertus was whatever. I should have ran Double Guignol as well. Double Guignol came up. And then also Triple Albaz came up twice that tournament. So like, that's why I want to go back to the pure version, so I can just run Triple Albaz and not worry about it. And then Gulamel Altharion, and also that's why you could just run the pure or the hand trap version, because you only need Double Albaz in that build. One Lad. This was because I didn't main the Sanctifier. So I needed a power play, especially under hand traps, and this card did not come up because I was just 2-locking. This was one of the things I knew going into this event. I was like, either this is going to be broken, or this is going to conflict way too much. Banishment plus this conflicted way too much with a Tude, because I'm trying to keep my Bestial on board, not fucking fuse it off with this. So I should have just ran Sanctifier here. This was just bad. And Gulamel was just bad too. This card barely came up. Secretarion was really good though. Definitely would keep this in even pure. Altharion was like, whatever. Even when I saw my Dracotail cards, I was just losing because I was either playing pure Dracotail or just not able to resolve, or like Retaliating Seed, right? And then Chaos Borreload, insane cards, so. Yep, and once again, if anything for changes, I'd like remove this for Sanctifier and put an Ido. But once again, I'd just like also remove the Dracotail cards and just like remove the Dracotail engine in here and replace them with 6 other cards. I'll have a build out hopefully in a few days, but yeah, Sanctifier, I'm definitely going back to this card. Even though it's dubious, I think there's a little bit less droplet depending on the event, and then also in the environment, and then also really just depends with the Fallen and the Virtuous, but like, that's only one card. You have to put them on Better Habit. And then, let's see, for the extra deck, Shadal Fusion. This card was okay. It doesn't really come up too much because I would just get like Veilered, or like, I don't know. These cards were just like whatever. They were always so good in testing and just barely came up. 3 Droll. Droll was really good. I probably should main this card, honestly. Because it's also a Fu out. So just having like the 3 Ash, 3 Droll plus Called By means you have 7 Fu outs in your main, plus like the Thrust that I probably should have been running, and that's also something I want to talk about. I think Thrush should have been my deck, like I was saying before. I just needed ways to play through hand traps, and Perulia was bad too, so cut Perulia. This was terrible. This was terrible. Absolutely terrible. This was kind of bad too, honestly, because I already had Droplet, so I drew both. You don't run Droplet and this at the same time, I found out today, or this weekend, so my issue was I didn't have a way to play through Fua and Ash like consistently and like Called By, so I think things like Fusion Duplication with Thrust should have been my deck, so definitely going to be doing that. And once again, would literally just cut this whole Dracotail engine at this point, and then start putting in other cards, guys. Like, this is your branded core. Start like going to 3 ofs on like deployment, obviously High Spirits, you know, couple Sarniers, couple Shroudeds, 3 Albaz, and probably put in Super Poly or up the Droplet to 3, right? And put in Thrust as well. Thrust is most important because just not having Thrust. If I had Thrust plus Ido Lock, I think I would have made day 2, because a lot of the time I would just get Fu Ash and like I just had no good plays, right? I would just get my board broken, but at least like the Ido play makes it so like I have a more than 50% shot of me just winning, you know. So that was my review of YCS Pittsburgh. I ended up going X4 right by the end of round 8, so nothing crazy. And we're gonna do better next time, right? This was hopefully a learning video for the people who've been like following these builds and doing a build like this. Also, thank you all for the people who came up to me. It's an incredible event, just being able to see people. That's like always the best part of Yu-Gi-Oh events, being able to see your Yu-Gi-Oh family, hang out with your best friends, and like travel to new places. And Pittsburgh's a beautiful city. I do love it. Really good food too. So yeah, no, I had a good time, even though I didn't get the result I wanted. And I'm gonna be in Richmond, so I'm gonna be there with Pure Branded for sure. Yeah, it actually is I think Richmond actually has the new Albaz support, so we'll have to. I don't think you should sell your Dracotail cards, honestly, but I think it's like, because especially with the new branded support, but I think like maybe consider running the pure build, or I was thinking about also siding these, but it's like too big of a build. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm gonna try probably do some more DB grinding, right, obviously, and then get back to some more regionals, maybe do some remotes finally again, and try branded there, because I think we got close, honestly. It felt close. I was basically losing to my own hands a lot of the time. My first hand of the tournament, I bricked, literally, so I knew it was going to be that kind of day. Against Yummy Mitsu, right, I win die roll, brick, and then I just lose game 3, so to a cross out, right? So that's how that day went. Games were close, and if my deck wasn't just bricking, like, literally most of the time, or just, like, giving me hands that couldn't play through, like, Fu and or Ash, then, like, I think I would have done a lot better. So if I change those things, make those additions that I mentioned in this video, I think it would be a lot better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to see more videos like this, where I kind of just get into introspection on, like, maybe an event that didn't go great for me, or just, like, after even a good event, just to see my thought process on it, let me know. We got 2026 coming up. I'm going to get my top there, guys. Here, you heard it here first. I do appreciate you guys. Do appreciate all the support. We hit 15,000 subscribers. Also, thank you once again to everyone who came up to me. A bunch of crazy stories and great, really touching moments with people, just to hear how, like, the channel helped them get into Yu-Gi-Oh, get back into Yu-Gi-Oh, or just get into Yu-Gi-Oh, play branded in particular. It makes me feel very humble and very lucky to be in the position I am. So I thank you guys every single day, like, and I'm gonna keep doing it because you guys deserve it. I love you guys. Like, thank you very much for everything. I love this channel. It's the best thing I've ever done for myself, and just bring myself into the community, start making content, being able to meet you guys, and being able to spread the knowledge of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh deck. And we keep getting new support. We bet everything on the house, and it worked. So alright, guys, we'll be seeing you guys later. Have a great day. Comment down below what you guys thought. Have a great day. Subscribe. Road to 20,000 subscribers, obviously. We're going to be hitting that by 2026 as well, so let's get it. See you guys later. Bye now.